Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hashmap Megabytes. Today we are going to do the dreaded Azure ActiveDirectory single sign-on setup for Snowflake. First thing, let's go to Azure and head over to ActiveDirectory and find our enterprise applications. This used to be kind of a harder process, but now Snowflake is a first-class connector here. So let's go ahead and add a new application. And we're going to add it from the gallery. Just search for Snowflake. And give this a good descriptive name. Probably not just Snowflake. Even if you only have one account, it's usually pretty good to name these well. So I'll call this one our Hashmap GCP Snowflake. Okay. The rest looks really good here, so let's add it. And first thing, we're just going to set up single sign-on. You can get to this on the left as well, but this is pretty easy. And we're going to select SAML. And now we'll need just a little bit of information from your Snowflake instance. So let's edit this first basic SAML configuration area. And we're basically going to put in different flavors of your account URL. So the way to grab it is just grab everything up to the com from whatever your Snowflake account is. So I will grab all of this, including the HTTPS, copy it, and we're going to paste it here, just as is. I don't think you need that // maybe it'll work, but let's get rid of it. And then we're going to, down here in the reply URL, we're going to add a little magic at the end here. Fed, and I believe that's login. Let me check here. I have the docs open. Fed log out and fed login. Okay, great. So it's fed login, and this is how the two tools are going to talk to each other. And then the sign-on URL is, again, just our basic URL with nothing after it, and then our logout URL is going to be fed logout. So just that, 4 little areas here. We're going to leave relay state blank, and this is all we'll need. So we'll save that, and hopefully you followed me this far. The next part is what I would consider maybe the scarier part, is that we have to download a file, and we're going to have to read it. So look at the SAML signing certificate here in section 3, and we're going to want the base 64 certificate. We're going to go ahead and download that, and I'm going to put it in my desktop here. And I believe that's everything we're going to need from here. We're going to come back to get this login URL in a second, but let's jump over and look at this certificate. So without getting into too many details, this is just a little text file that includes some information about logging into this environment. And it's how Snowflake's going to tell ActiveDirectory that it is a legitimate service. So go ahead and copy this information, and you should have in the link here in our video a link to some SQL in GitHub. And this is the SQL we're going to use in Snowflake to actually set this up. The cool thing about Snowflake is you can do so much stuff with SQL. Let's take advantage of that. So we're copying just the parts in between begin cert and end cert. We don't want those parts. We're going to copy it as is, come here, and just fill this part in where it says certificate. And I know it doesn't look super pretty, but we're going to leave it that way. You don't want to share this with anyone, by the way. These are secrets. When I'm done with this video, I'm going to delete all of this. So don't share this information. Next is the SSO URL. So I mentioned that we're going to grab one little thing from ActiveDirectory. So let's jump back into ActiveDirectory and find this login URL here in section 4. Copy it. And we'll add that here. Type is custom. Let's leave that as it is. And then we're going to call this, Hashmap Azure ActiveDirectory. I tried to do this before, and you're not allowed to have spaces here, and there's a 20 character limit. So let's just call this Azure AD. I think that'll work just fine. And then go ahead and copy all of this SQL, and let's go to Snowflake. Paste that in, and first you're going to need account admin access. That makes sense. This is a pretty serious operation. And then we're going to alter our account, and we're going to set our SAML identity provider to this this kind of JSON value that we just created. And then the last step, which is really important, it's easy to overlook, because right now SAML single sign-on will work just fine, but we won't see the option in our login page to use single sign-on. So we're going to alter our account and let single sign-on login page be true. So now when we go to login, we will see a single sign-on option. So now I can log out. Very important though, your user logins, the login name for your user must match exactly the identity you have in your Active Directory. Most often, this is your email address. Whatever email address you use to sign in with Active Directory into Azure, that must be your login name. So you can check that by running describe user on really any user that you have, and look for this login name. Mine is my email address. I believe it's case insensitive. If you want to change this, it is really simple. You just do alter user, then set login name equal, and then it's a single quote here, and then put your email address. I have a mistake I've done before is had a little space here, and that's really hard to debug, so make sure you do it exactly, no spaces. And you'll want to do that for everyone in your account that's going to be using this, and that's why I recommend for people creating user accounts, go ahead and set that login name to the email address anyway. That's good for a couple reasons. So let's log out and see if this works. Okay, so now we can log in. We see this single sign-on button that will allow us to actually test out our single sign-on. So when I click this, I'm going to get an error, which is a good thing. This is exactly what we kind of want. I never added myself on the Active Directory side as a authorized user. So this is gating access from the Active Directory side. So if I go back here and go to users and groups in my enterprise application, I can go ahead and add myself, and you can do this for whole groups of people. I'll just select myself here, and this is where you can see that email address I mentioned before. Select and assign. Great, so now I am an authorized user of this enterprise application, and if I go back here and try to sign in again, then hopefully it works. Yep, okay. So now I'm signed in. No need for a password or anything. If you want to, you can then remove someone's password using unset. On that user, that should remove the password and then keep them only as SSO users. There are reasons you don't want to do that, but if you want to ensure everyone's always using SSO only, create their users without passwords, and they'll have to. Hopefully this was helpful. Reach out if you have any other questions, and please subscribe for more Megabytes content.